and welcome to the Smoking Syndicate Roundtable number 20. Barrett Duplessis here alongside William Cooper, Aaron Nielsen, and Ben Lee. We are going to be smoking the Lure Cigar Company's the Jolly Walleye. Yes, a cigar named the Jolly Walleye. We're so excited that you have all decided to join us for this evening. And if you're listening to us later on podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts, whether that be on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, Podbean, or wherever you listen to podcasts, or you can also check us out on the Smoking Syndicate Smoking Syndicate YouTube channel as well. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and that little bell is really helpful too, so you know that when new content posts and we have again another roundtable or another review from Ben, Mr. Bullshark Lee. So welcome, gentlemen. This is roundtable number 20. Here we go.
There we go. Yeah. We had to delay this a little because of weather, actually. We kind of, we're getting cigars out to folks. I was getting the cigars out to folks. I thought I had a week, but we had some pretty bad weather in North Carolina and everyone's package got delayed. So we had to push this out a bit. But we're back.
We are back indeed. And an interesting cigar. This was a late addition to our I guess table of contents or lineup, our schedule. I can think of words. I promise I can speak English. But this is something that's really exciting. I think, we're going to talk a little bit about this. This is going to be one of my, I have a question around this. But, Lou Cross has been, a big time supporter of the Cigar Coop Coalition. And, it's not too often that you kind of see, people, I guess it has to happen somewhere, but it's like, people coming into the cigar industry, cigar makers that we know from different avenues of this business, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Go
Agreed.
ahead, please.
Disagreed.
I
No,
was
it's
waiting for some deep thoughts.
Lou's been a friend of mine for quite a long time, and I kind of saw this coming. He's really, really deep into cigars as much as any of us, and we have a mutual friend back in Tallahassee that does his own cigars, and we would test every. It's the Valakari line that's based in Tallahassee, and Lou and I were one of his sampling partners to try out different blends and was unique because Lou liked a lot of really strong, heavier stuff. And I don't generally smoke that kind anymore. I'm more, medium bodied kind of stuff. So, eventually some of the stuff that Lou liked, our friend decided to do is like, limited edition and limited edition packs. And they're actually some of the best sellers. So, when Lou was said, he was starting his own cigar line and calling it Lure Cigars, so it wasn't really a surprise to me. I kind of saw this coming in one way or another. So I'm glad that these are finally coming out where people can get a hold of these a little bit better now.
So knowing him for all the years that you have been, where like did you see the fishing theme coming too, or was it just
Yeah, that
you
has to
guys
do with his dad. So his dad was a huge fisherman. They
okay,
fish together a lot. So that's kind of where the steam comes from. It
sure,
basically honors his dad.
yeah, and we're gonna talk about it a little bit in a little bit, but yeah, hey, everyone at the audience knows about my affection and love for my father. So anytime we honor a dad, I'm all about it. So it's cool. So let's go ahead and get into the specs. Ben, I've got them pulled up. You want me to go ahead and go?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So, um, interesting blend, and I have some comments on the blend here in just a little bit. But straight up, we've got a Habano 2000 wrapper from Nicaragua over a binder of Ometepe. So interesting choice. And three regions in Nicaragua make up the filler. So we have leaves from Esteli, Yalapa, and Ometepe again, making up the Lure Cigars, the Jolly Walleye. Now this is a limited edition, if I'm not mistaken. Coop, right?
Yeah. So we actually had Lou on Primetime episode, I think it was 326. And he did this Jolly Walleye as a holiday cigar, and we can kind of talk about that in a minute. What the theme is with the holidays, Christmas time. But Lou has said he is bringing this back on an annual basis, so it will be an annual limited edition.
Oh, nice, cool. And I love a series. You guys know that. So
Yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah, but the interesting thing about this is, he felt that the flavors in this cigar reminded him of the holidays. But another thing is that his dad loved the Friday night fish fries, and one of his favorite types of fish was the walleye. So, it kind of was, and a lot of times you'll see the fish fries at different times of. It's typically more of a Lent thing you'll see it at.
Yeah.
But you tie both of those together, and you have the Jolly Walleye as his holiday cigar he's gonna be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this
Lou is a big time Catholic like we are too. And so this, yeah, Lenten fish fry throwback.
Yep, yep,
Oh, nice.
yep.
This, I mean, so this cigar is manufactured at Tabacalera Pagas de Nicaragua, SA. And another one of Ben's good friends, Valacari Cigars, oversees Lure's distribution. So, Ben, are you a silent partner in this? I gotta know, man.
Nope. Nothing to do with any of either one of them. I'm
No, I
just a
mean,
guinea pig.
yeah, but I mean, it was he would smoke at the guy who owns Valakari. He would. I guess Lou knew him from the shop they smoked at.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah, and
Parkway
that
Cigars in Tallahassee.
right, and that's how they kind of got hooked up. And he immediately started working with the factory. And I think Lou got a really good break by getting some of the distribution going, because distribution is a lot of times with a small, and this is a smaller brand. It's hard to get that sometimes. So it was a good. Lou's been able to get off to a good start with this and land in some retailers.
Interesting because, and I knew nothing about. I knew a little bit about the story in our conversations, some of it on text and whatnot, and I cheated slightly and cut the foot, and
Bastard.
well, whatever.
Keep going, man.
And I did a dry draw, and one of the notes, it's slightly, and I hope it doesn't turn Coop off, slightly floral, but I got like a pine dry draw. And when I heard the Christmas theme, which I had no idea about, I was like, oh, well, maybe not that I'm gonna get pine flavor from the cigar, but literally in the dry draw, that's what I got, a little bit of pine.
I've gotten some pine needle before on the flavor, on the palate before of a cigar. Um, it's weird, um, especially with this. I mean, I'm not gonna name names of cigar, but just in conjunction with some of the other flavor profiles I was getting, it was not the best combination of flavors, but yeah. So I mean the what I think I love about this cigar, it's like one of my favorite Vitolas. It's kind of like it's a Robusto Extra. It's a 5x52.
Agreed.
And it's like one of my favorite Vitolas. Um, it's like my Toro, I like to say, because like everyone loves to smoke a Toro, and like
Yeah,
I love smoking Robustos and Coronas. So the Robusto Extra is like my Toro.
look at
Um,
this cap. I love that flat Cuban cap on this thing. I'm a big fan of that flat cap.
yeah, let's talk about some of these impressions. Like Aaron just gave us some of the information about the dry drop, that flat cap. I mean, I had to say that this is a really nice looking cigar. I've smoked one other cigar from this factory, and so that's not enough for me to comment on the overall like construction and how cigars look. But I'm very impressed with how this cigar looks. It's the Habano 2000 wrapper is really nice looking.
Mine's a
Yeah,
little veiny, but overall, it's a nice looking wrapper.
yeah. Mine's not oily by any means, but it's got this kind of slight silkiness to it. I guess I don't know. I'm trying to come up with the
Hmm.
word, but it's not an oily wrapper by any means.
Yeah, it's got a little sheen to it, but it's
Sheen,
not.
that's
Yeah,
a yeah.
yeah. The foot smells really enticing. It's got that kind of like leather,
I get the
earth.
pine. I get the
I
pine.
get the pine. Now you got the pine thing in my head now.
Oh, I'm
It,
smelling the foot. I haven't done the dry draw yet. So,
no, but I'm getting it. I'm smelling it from the foot. I get a
I don't know.
slight pine note.
Yeah, come on.
And I had smoked one of these already, and there was a note I was trying to identify, and I think Aaron, you nailed it.
Every once in a while, go.
Fine.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and
Let's
cut the
go.
cap off mine
Yep.
and test
That's
this
it.
straw and
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
cold
go.
draw.
Let's go. So
Are we firing up?
We're doing dry
No,
draw.
not yet. Hold on a minute.
No.
if you
He's
fire
like,
up now, you'll be done by the time we start the first third
dude,
bit.
he fires up when we get to the media compound before we even bring the bags in the house.
When you have an addiction, it's just that you gotta.
Yeah.
It's a pastime, Aaron. It's a pastime. It's not an
That's right.
addiction.
Hobby.
Dude, I'm getting that pine now. You got this in my. I don't know if you put this in my head or not, but I'm definitely getting that pine note, and that was kind of the unknown note. I couldn't figure out what this was.
My dry draw is perfect. I mean, it's
Well,
almost like it's rolled into bar.
there's like a
Look at you.
pine. Yeah.
It kind of looks like it is. Is it not?
Can't tell, but I can't tell from the foot, but I don't know. It's drawing to where it's almost got to be into bar. It draws almost exactly like the Johnny Tobacconist. I mean, it's literally. I'm gonna have to be careful on this, unless it tightens up when I light it up. I'm gonna have to be careful because this is a very open draw, which I like. I prefer.
There's a bit of a salty note I'm getting from this, too.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that. I'm getting like a little bit of like
It's. I don't want to. This is typically a dry drawer. It's not in my wheelhouse, but I'm actually
I told
enjoying
you
it.
it's got a little floral to it, like hence a little.
Yeah, I'm getting that too. That's why I said that.
it's kind of like this salty rose hip thing going. I know that's just making Coop's day by me saying that, but yeah, it's a little salty. Well, I'm getting a little rose hip. Um, I'm
It's
still getting
not.
that
It's
leather
not
component.
aggressively floral.
Yeah,
No, I'm really interested to like this thing. I'm.
I mean that's super. I mean like it's super aggressive, man. Omen Tepe
Check
in
the
two parts of the cigar.
check the Facebook feed, please.
Why is it down?
I just got notified it's in like a weird loop.
Okay,
It looks like the Facebook feed is looping. Let me try sharing it again.
hold on. I got
Bear,
it.
can you try sharing it again? Okay. Yeah, you guys share it. It definitely looks like it's in a 20-second loop.
Yeah.
The recording's fine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pause it.
Well, sorry everybody, but the recording's still good. So for
Yep.
those listening,
Appreciate everyone checking that. Thanks, our audience, keeping us honest.
we'll keep on rocking and rolling. So we're just in the dry draw and overall appearance and everything of the Lure Cigar Company, the Jolly Walleye. Habana 2000 wrapper, Nicaraguan Ometepe binder, 3 Nicaraguan leaves in the filler, Jalapa, Esteli, and Ometepe.
No,
Draw's
you have
pretty
the
good for me.
MSRP?
The MSRP is
15.
15. $14.99? Was it $14.99?
I have even 15.
So, again, my, one of my favorite sizes, the Robusto Extra 5x52. It's fantastic. So, Chris, thanks for watching. He says it's working now, so we're good to go. Wonderful. Well, guys, I apologize about that. So,
Nope. Happens.
are we ready to go ahead and light up?
I think Aaron is. If we don't,
Yeah.
he's gonna have
Well,
a.
let's wait before we do that. Let's go real quick for people that just joined what we got on our cold draw real quick. Like for mine, it's a perfect milkshake draw, no problems. And then we've basically talked about what we mostly get on this cold draw, some saltiness, a little bit of floral notes, and some piney kind of wood quality.
Yep.
Does anybody get anything else besides those 3, Ralph?
That's pretty much what I'm getting. Exactly.
I'm getting some salted rose hip. I do not get the pine at all. A nice leather note as well. I get that on the foot, the aroma of the
Yeah,
foot,
I
and
get the
also on the
leather.
dried. A
Yeah,
little bit
I
of
do get that
earthiness.
leather.
There's almost
Yes.
like no spice, like there's like no pepper to it so far, which is interesting considering the tobaccos that are in this. I'm really excited about this, but I'm really excited to try this because this is like Man, whenever I hear Ometepe and then I hear people double down on it, man, like I'm really just anxious to see how people blend with it. Just I like
It's
it. It's a very polarizing tobacco.
Yes, it is.
it is extremely polar. I mean, I once tried to do a filler with all Ometepe tobacco at Drew Estate, and it was the worst cigar I ever had. So
Yeah, it's a balancing act for sure. And knowing Lou and Nimmer that owns Valakari have an Ometepe is not a shocker whatsoever. So let's
Um,
go ahead and I'm gonna light this up and see what happens.
so that's good. Coop, was the cigar with all Ometepe filler, was it worse than the CAO Vision?
it might have been. It was pretty
Whoa.
bad.
Whoa.
I mean, it wasn't as bad as the Mario Andretti cigar, which is the worst cigar I had. But I remember I asked Saka was there, right? I said, "What do you think of my blend?" And he just laughed at me. Yeah. He goes, these cigar blends are like garanimals. You can't screw them up. And he goes, "You found a way to screw it up."
That's funny. What's the worst the worst scoring cigar on Cigar Coop history?
Um, I know. I think it's Ben's review of the what was the fire starter?
No, it was a vision.
Oh man,
That is the
yeah,
lowest one.
the Vision's the lowest one.
No.
That,
Yep.
Oh, his vision was lower than that fire starter.
Hmm.
Was that like a 65?
They were in the
It was something
70s.
like that.
Yeah.
It was really, really low.
Yeah. And then one of my lowest was El Talo, which was the cigar that they put stems
Yeah.
in for the filler
yeah,
that Loomis had in the top 10. Like that was pretty bad. They use and the reason why you don't put stems as filler. It's terrible.
And Lewis,
it was such it was a unique tasting cigar. I was really surprised. I was surprised that it lit. Let's be honest.
But it was I was surprised it lit too, but it was awful.
I wasn't a fan of the science experiment. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
wasn't either.
Well, this is the first time I've had this one. I haven't lit one of these up yet.
Okay, I have lit this up.
I'm loving the smoke coming off the draw. I gotta tell you that much. It's nice.
say what, this draw is freaking perfect.
Mhm.
Absolutely perfect.
So I've only had one other cigar from this factory before. A cigar called Last of My Kind. So it was like given to me in like a random package or something. I smoked it. It was okay. Like,
No, that's not true.
The
I've given you
Valkyrie, the
Valakari.
Valkyries, yeah.
oh, Valakars you made theirs? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
My apologies. That cigar, yeah, that cigar was stupendous.
Yes.
Absolutely fucking stupendous. That was unbelievable. Oh. My apologies. I was literally going off their website, so my apologies
Yeah.
to everyone. So because I was like, have I had anything else from this? And I didn't see any of it.
Is this thing going to be a powerhouse, you think?
I'm not gonna give a lot away. Lou likes stronger cigars, is what I'm just gonna tell you.
Because I just took a couple puffs and I can already tell it's got some nicotine to it.
Lou is
Yeah.
Well,
So
Lou likes
if
strong
Luke
cigar.
if Luke
tip of
could
the
have a
cap.
cigar punch you in the mouth, that would be a good cigar.
Well,
That's what
tip of
Lou
the cap
wants.
to Luke, because I've got my coffee here, and if this is going to be a bomb, then that's fantastic. Because I got a newborn to take care of, tonight, so I can't really sleep.
Yeah, but this cigar, like I said, I smoked it before. 'Cause it's interesting because when you smoke it in a roundtable setting, you get some different things. I just discovered.
It's interesting, and for the audience, if you ever get a chance, and maybe you don't geek out like we do, but get together with some friends and actually like pay attention to a cigar, because 90% of the cigars I smoked them before, so I really don't pay attention to them, but I know what I liked, what I don't like. But when we do these roundtables and I actually pay attention, I appreciate the cigars more. Now, I may appreciate some of them being shitty, but some of them being great and stuff like the nuances of some of these cigars. There's no way if I smoked this cigar on my own, half paying attention, half not, I would miss half the cigar, half the
You,
notes.
Well, I think that's the challenge with it too. Like, and I think it's an exercise in two things. Like one, I think it's the power of influence, Mr. Pine suggesting to Coop, you
uh-huh.
know.
There definitely is that.
I think that's real. I think that's real, and that could I'm just teasing you. That's not a
But
knock
I
on you,
wrote
but I think
kind of
that's real.
unknown note. It was kind of
Yeah,
I had to figure it out. Yeah.
but yeah, like I think to that point though, a
Yeah.
lot of times, and I've had this conversation, I've had this discussion point before when I've spoke with some of my friends, straight out of college and stuff, and I was getting into it, and my other friends were just like, I was like really super into it, and I've always had a pretty good palate. And my friends were kind of learning about stuff, and they're like, "What's that? What's that taste? That this?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's apple, or that's this, that's that, that's cinnamon that you're tasting." When you try to describe something but you can't, it's really great to have a group around you to kind of like bounce these kind of flavor notes off of it. And I'm the one that always has the weird shit, um, but yeah, I think that's a great point, Aaron, is that it's such a great exercise and it's fun too. Like it's just fun to pick something apart.
So right off the bat, what are y'all getting off this cigar?
Well, I can
Aaron,
tell
you
you
go.
right now, couple things. One, I can tell this is strong, and I like strong stuff. This thing is freaking strong. I mean, it's and I don't know what. Usually, it builds into strength. If this thing keeps building, and this thing is gonna put me on my
This
ass.
thing's almost full. If it's almost full
It
strength.
it
Yeah.
is. I would say medium plus for sure. Perfect draw. I get like a white pepper. I get a definite woodiness, and it's kind of a dry woodiness. Like my palate is dry. Like so a little bit of leather. Not sweet. There's no real sweetness. So it's that a hint of like the floral pine. I still get that. I still get that like woody pine, um, and like the dryness, and it's strong.
Okay, what about you?
This is, I gotta say this, I talk about blends, sometimes a cookie cutter blends. There is nothing cookie cutter about this blend. It's a very unique blend. I am getting this pine herbal like note. I'm getting some saltiness. I'm getting a little bit of natural tobacco that's giving a touch of sweetness, Aaron, not a lot of it. And I'm getting white pepper. The pepper is actually in the early stages quite potent on that retro and on the finish. I would say this is, like I said, this is upper end of medium to full. It's going at this point, very close to the full strength, full body. This is punching me out of the gate, but not in a negative way. This is, like I said, I'm enjoying the starters, and that saltiness is actually really a nice note. And Bear, normally I don't like that saltiness at times.
Yeah, I was gonna say too, like especially when we talk about floral dark fruit notes in particular, you're not
Yeah,
necessarily the biggest
yeah,
fan. So
but it's unique. I don't think I've ever picked a cigar up with that's kind of with this profile before at all.
yeah, I think it's interesting that it's so strong and yet it has like some delicate flavors. Like I mentioned rose
Good
hip.
point.
Like
Good point, Dave. Yeah.
I'm still getting that. Uh it's I'm getting a lot of saltiness to it. And I think that the draw is really good. I got to be careful. And my apologies to Lou. I got to be careful because it's starting to canoe on me. So I touched it up already, and I'm going to slow it down
Yeah.
just a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't that's not on the manufacturer. I think I fucked that up. But otherwise, like it's a razor sharp burn around the rest of the cigar. So that's definitely a user error thing. But the draw is impeccable. Uh,
Or it's
I am
rare. Yeah.
I am digging the fucking retro hill on this thing.
This is
Holy
right
shit.
up your alley, Bear, the retro
Yeah.
hell. Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Gosh, this thing's strong.
It's got oomph. Here's the thing. Uh, it's got power, but again, it's got some delicacy to it. which is just very fascinating because you're thinking about like when
Yeah,
you think of
yeah.
like powerhouse cigars, you think of pepper and like red pepper, white pepper, and or like strong, bold coffees, like dark roasted flavor. You're not getting. I'm not getting that at least right now.
Well, in contrast, the last cigar we did on the roundtable was the Orthodox, which was a cigar in that profile. And I would say this as a strength level is probably right up there. It's but you're I agree with you. These are just much more delicate flavors is the best way to put it. And that's not a negative.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so far it's got me intrigued very much.
How
I
about
I mean
you?
I'm
How about
going
you?
in this.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go
How
ahead,
about
Ben.
you, Ben?
Yeah, I'm pretty much getting the same thing you are talking about. That pininess, a little bit of floral notes, the saltiness, a little bit of leather. And I'm like Coop. I do get a little hint of sweetness. It's slight. It's kind of in the background a little bit, but I
Yes,
do get a little bit of sweetness.
I definitely am getting a little bit of it. Not a lot, but a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, when I retrohale this, I get a lot of that white pepper and kind of I get woodiness, but I don't. It's not piney kind of
It,
woody. It's just like a generic kind of woodiness about it, and a little hint of that leather. But the burn so far on this is absolutely amazing. And one thing
Yeah.
we didn't really talk about at the beginning that I wanted to mention was look, the bands are, I love the artwork on the band. It has that like retro 50s kind of,
oh yeah,
field and stream kind of thing going
Does
on.
it's
yeah.
got
I
it
love
reminds you
that.
it reminds you like something you'd have it goes with the fishing theme, something you'd have
Yeah.
mounted on a wall in a cabin, right?
Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah,
that theme.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. Lou did a really nice job with the packaging. And like I said, the bands are simple. They're not like embossed or anything, but they work. I think they work. And he uses the colors very nicely. With
Yeah.
he ties the colors to different wrappers and things like that, which I think he's done a nice job with as well.
I think that one of the things that I like to be honest about the packaging and stuff, like I think you have to look at it much closer. You have to be at it close, like the level that I'm at to appreciate it a little bit more. Because I'm going to be honest, like when I first saw it, I wasn't wowed by it. Like you know, yeah, I'm not trying to knock on Lou at all. Like, but I mean, he's paying a tribute here, and but looking at it closer, it has the detail, like you said, this kind of retro 50s, 60s vibe. I'm sure when his dad was, fishing some streams and lakes and stuff like that, the small, the small and subtle cigar, it's not an obnoxious stogie hanging out of the lure's mouth. You know, the colors, like, yeah, I think when you look at it a lot closer, it is definitely, it is definitely more, it's definitely something you can appreciate a lot more looking at it a lot closer than from like a little bit
Yeah.
further away.
Tell you what, this thing is no
Yeah.
joke, though. This thing is no joke from a strength standpoint. Like if you're for the audience, if you go pick these up, and so far, I would say if you like strength, this is going to be right up your alley.
Yeah.
You don't like strength? Fair warning.
I wouldn't give this to the not amateur, a novice. I want to
Correct.
say. Yeah, it's
Do you
not a.
do you remember the original like Kane Fs?
Oh yeah.
Oh my! Remember that
Yeah.
Kane F Lancero, which
Shut the
that was the
fuck
strongest
up.
Lancero I ever had. Well, yeah. Next, and then Warhead 3 came, which was pretty strong. But those Kane F Lanceros were strong.
The Cane F, I still smoke all the time. I mean, I can get them fairly cheap. I smoke them on the golf course every once in a while. They're still strong. They're not as strong as they used to be, I don't think,
Yeah.
but they are still strong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or the punch uppercut. I get a lot. There's a lot of similarity to that pipe. You can tell it's Ometepe, the type of strength that's coming from, like where the
Well,
strength is coming from. You can get that. You get that punch uppercut vibe to it.
from Corona Cigars, his was not the Angel's Anvil, it's the is it the Angels? No,
No,
that's
Army of
Tom
Angels.
Heads. The
The
Army of Angels.
Yeah,
That's another
That
one.
thing, that thing
Yeah,
is that
that's
thing
got
is
some giddy up.
really strong. Not, I mean, the kinetic is strong, but the original,
Yeah.
that thing has got some serious strength to it too.
Yep.
That's got some giddy up,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
I fucking love that cigar, man. And if
I
that
think
wasn't
that
a store
covers it for
exclusive,
the initial part of the cigar. So we'll go
yeah.
ahead and we'll go ahead and finish the first third, and we'll be back to let you know what we thought. See you in a second.
And we're back.
And welcome back, everybody, to Roundtable number 20 from the Smoking Syndicate. We're smoking Lure Cigar Company's the Jolly Walleye, a limited edition cigar released by Lou Cross from the Lure Cigar Company. It features a Habano 2000 wrapper, Nicaraguan Ometepe binder, and 3 leaves from Nicaragua in the filler, Esteli, Alapa, and more Ometepe. So we've been made our way through our first third. So let's get our first impressions of this cigar. Aaron, why don't you go ahead and kick us off?
Yeah, so the first third, a couple of things. It's full body, right? Burn is impeccable. Draw is fantastic. So those are kind of get those 3 out of the way. First third, white pepper. I did get some of that saltiness that you guys talked about. It's a woodiness, a little bit of the drying of the palate. I get a hint of, so I still get that kind of piney wood that I talked about, a hint of leather, and there's a hint of, I don't want to say it's florally, but it's got, I'm trying to articulate what it is. I'm going to say floral note, but it's not florally. It's not like that potpourri that, that Coop doesn't like. It's not that, but it's got,
It's not Peruvian tobacco.
It's not Peruvian tobacco. It's got like a, what am I trying to say? It's like a lightness to it. It's not light because it's super heavy. I'm trying to think of and maybe you guys will put you'll say something and I'll be like, yeah, that's it. But again,
It's a lovely bouquet.
Like a bouquet, kind of like that. Yeah, it's a bouquet of some complexity to it. So this is not a straight wood, straight leather, straight earth. This has got some complexity to it, and I'm enjoying it so far.
Ben, you mentioned in the break that you were picking up a specific note that the maker of the cigar, Lou Cross, told you about. So why don't you elaborate on your first third experience?
Yeah, so my first third, what I got, we kind of talked about it with the initial impressions with the white pepper leather, the piney wood flavor, that kind of natural tobacco sweetness, and the saltiness. I get all that, but as it got to the end of the first third and it's getting into the middle third now, I'm picking up salted caramel, like a sweet salted caramel that's kind of what Lou had mentioned, like that was one of the main notes in here. And it kind of that's what kind of dawned on me like maybe a holiday cigar, right? Because it's not just, like the Christmas tree kind of a thing that we're getting from it or whatever, but it's like it's all that goes around the holidays, right? The cooking, especially all the different desserts everybody always cooks and has around, whatever. So it's kind of like the whole atmosphere of the holidays, right? And when I started getting that salted caramel kind of a flavor right at the end of the first third, along with the kind of the pininess, piney woodness, it kind of does remind me of the freaking holidays. That's what I started thinking of too. You know, just kind of being at home with family, cooking and desserts all over the counter, and you know, Christmas trees with the presents under it. It kind of I get that. It's really interesting. This is really really good.
It's
Coop, what
good.
about you?
Well, real quick, can I chime in just off? The one thing and maybe I'm, again, everybody pulls different things. I'm just not getting. I can see the saltiness, but I can't get the sweetness. I don't have the sweetness that you have to make it the caramel.
Yeah.
And it may come into that, but right now that's the
Maybe,
component I'm
yeah.
missing. But anyway, sorry. Go ahead, Coop.
So this thing definitely picked up in sweetness in the first third. I'm definitely getting sweetness where the sweetness is now a lot more prominent, not overpowering per se. But my sweetness is almost like a stone fruit I'm getting, not necessarily a caramel, but I get these salted notes layered on top of it. That pine herbal note's still there. Not really a dominant note I have, other than the notes I'm getting are playing very well nice to each other, for sure. The pepper's secondary. but it's prominent on the retrohale, is what I'm gonna say.
Herbal. That's the word I was looking for, Coop.
Herbal.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Herbal. I couldn't say it's not floral.
Yep.
Herbal.
It's
That's the
herbal.
perfect.
It's not floral
Herbal.
because if it was floral, I'd be putting this down probably,
Yep.
right?
That's the word I was looking for.
Right.
Oh,
Herbal.
you wouldn't, Coop, because you're a man of integrity and you're gonna
No,
smoke
I
a
know, I know,
cigar.
I know. The
No.
burn's impeccable. The drawer's really good. Excellent. And roads are excellent as well. I'm getting a lot of smoke production off this cigar too. So quite a bit of smoke production I'm getting off of this, which I like. I like that as well. Uh, how's the finish for you guys? I'm putting this still as a medium finish for me.
I would agree.
It's medium for me as well.
Yeah, I have a medium finish as well.
It's a
But
lot of power. It doesn't linger though. That's the thing. It doesn't linger like a super long finish. Like there's a
okay,
lot of power in that retro.
yeah, this is full bodied and full strength now for me.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah,
moved into
totally.
full, totally moved into it. But neither attributes sacrificing the other. So if you want that power, you're getting it. And if you want that, those great bold flavors, you're getting it. But what I like, again, Bear, going back to what you said at the beginning, these flavors are more nuanced. They're not the bold, dark chocolate coffee notes, is what I'm saying. You're getting these herbal notes. Um, and like I said, for me, it's a stone fruit. I don't know. I'm not necessarily getting the salted caramel yet. But could be, So that suggestion didn't necessarily work on me, but we'll see. It may change as I go through it.
You know what's unique too? Like if you were describing this cigar to somebody and you said what we just said, a super strong, not, hold on, a strong full body cigar would not be what popped in my head. You know,
Yeah.
these flavors still aren't your typical flavors you get from a strong cigar,
No,
in my eyes.
okay, that's why I keep going back. This is a very unique profile that Glue has created here,
Yeah.
which is really refreshing to get. Um, and this is a great, we'll get to the end, but I'll just say I kind of like the fact that this is going to be an annual release. It's something to look forward to for sure.
Something else I want to bring up real quick. So I'm outside here and it's 31 degrees, about 15-mile-an-hour winds. This look at that. There's no look at that razor sharp mascara burn line.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with this cigar. It's not burning weird in this absolutely terrible conditions to smoke a cigar in.
Yeah.
And it's nothing
Uh,
is happening with this cigar.
Yeah, like I said, I had that little ash flake off, but nothing again. And I should point out I have air blowing down here, so that sometimes does, and it's not really. Again, it's nothing I would ding on the burn on a score for sure. It's burning really nice.
Yeah, the construction's impeccable. Bear, what are you getting out of the first third here?
So, Coop, I'm with you, man. I'm not getting the salted caramel. Whenever I get caramel in a cigar, for me, it typically is something that kind of it's a sweetness that kind of lingers on the palate, very similar to the way caramel candy does. Like it's just something that's kind of tacky and it has a very viscous feel on the palate for me personally. I'm not getting that kind of cloying sweetness. I am getting saltiness still. I am still kind of getting that rose hip component to it. I'm getting kind of some cinnamon, so I get the Christmas feel a little bit. For me, what's kind of picked up in the first third, which is interesting, and was not prominent on those first impressions, nor was it on the original dry draw, is I'm getting more of a cappuccino. I am getting a little bit of a creaminess. I'm getting a little coffee, but a cream like a cappuccino kind of flavor to it. The leather is still pretty prominent. It's a very it's a very interesting palette and profile considering the makeup of it. And I think it just goes to show you too, like you can't really judge a book by its cover. We're talking about power, we're talking about strength, and I'm 100% on board with you guys on this. This got some giddy up. But like the profile so far has been really, really whimsical in a pretty delightful way. So I'm really
Whimsical.
surprised.
Whimsical.
Yeah, I went
Wow.
there. Yeah, I went
Wow.
there.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. We
I
did
went
the
there.
holiday theme with the whimsical.
Yeah,
Whimsical.
I went there. I think it's Um, I mean, I didn't know what to expect kind of going into this. I like Lou a lot. I wanted to like the cigar, and I mean, we'll let it finish up before I kind of give my final judgment on it. But so far, really pleasant, very, very pleasantly pleased. I won't say I'll say surprised just because of, again, the makeup of the cigar and the flavor profile that I'm picking up on it. But yeah, good stuff.
Yeah. So when I get caramel, what I was saying is it's almost like a buttery, that salty, buttery kind of sweet flavor, right?
Hmm.
So to me, caramel is not overly sweet. It's just kind of silky, buttery kind of a thing, right? With salted caramel, obviously with salt on it.
Like
That's
a
kind of what I get. It's kind of like more not just a viscous sweetness kind of a thing. It's more like a buttery kind of flavor mouthfeel with, a little bit of saltiness on top of that. That's what
like a
makes me think of
Chardonnay,
that.
like a Chardonnay, Ben, minus the
An
citrus.
over oak Chardonnay, yeah, one
Yeah,
that's heavily oaked, yeah,
yeah.
something like that.
Okay, that makes
That
sense.
makes sense. But anyway, that's the end of the first third for us. We're going to pause it here for you two, and we'll be back in a minute to let you know what the second third's like. See you in a second.
And welcome back, everybody. Barry Duplessis here with the Smokington Syndicate Roundtable number 20. We are smoking the Lure Cigar Company, the Jolly Walleye limited edition cigar from Lou Cross's Creations, Lure Cigars. And I'm here with none other than Will Cooper, Ben Lee, and Aaron Nielsen. We just wrapped up the second third. And so, Ben, why don't you give us your thoughts on the second third?
Yeah, the second third, I get the piney woodness has kind of died away a little bit. I'm still getting the salted caramel flavor, but it's not a strong flavor. It's kind of an accent flavor, if you would. I'm actually picking up a little bit more of the herbal qualities now than before. I was getting a little bit faint, but actually getting it close right at the midpoint of the cigar, I started picking up a little bit more. And I'm still getting the white pepper, especially on the retrohale. The retrohale has pretty much been the same, that white pepper and that woody note. But it's gotten a little bit less sweet. That makes sense. The saltiness is still there, pretty good on in the middle third for me. So that's pretty much what I mean. It's to me, it's full bodied, full flavor, full. I mean, it's really good. The finish to me is still medium, almost medium short, but I would classify it as probably medium still. Coop, what about you?
I agree with a lot of what you said. The piney note definitely has gone into the background here. Even some of the herbal notes I'd say are secondary as well. I'm getting the stone fruit, but there's a lot of earthiness that I'm getting now with this picked up, and it's kind of countering the sweetness. So the sweetness has come down a bit, but it's smoking really. The flavors are melding well together. There's still a little bit of saltiness in the background. Um, the white pepper is getting slightly more, but it's more prominent on the retrohale. Full strength, full bodied. Draw is great. The burn has been great. So it's quite enjoyable. But I'm definitely feeling the strength with this. I'm feeling this cigar is definitely got some strength. But again, the flavors are just as robust to counteract this. So I'm wondering going into the final third, where the crescendo will lie with this. That's our famous crescendo flavor analysis that we tend to not get. So we'll see.
Bear, what about you?
Yeah,
For
I'm
me,
gonna.
oh,
Oh,
did you
who
say
said?
Aaron? I'm sorry. My
Bear.
apologies.
I
Go ahead.
said bear.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry. Go ahead.
With I think for me, to your point, Ben, about the finish, I think the finish has actually become shorter for me. So yeah, it's kind of a medium
Yeah, I think it
short.
has too. I think it has come shorter. You're right.
Yeah, and more into Coop's wheelhouse than Ben and mine. But the power hasn't been lost or anything. The delicacies, the delicate flavors that were kind of there in the first third have kind of faded a bit for me. The rose hip floral has kind of been replaced with that herbalness that you're talking about. To me, it reminds me of like an eight Ganesha tea a little bit. Very, very, just very, very herbally. Earthiness has kind of come into the prominence. There's still a little bit of leather, there's still a lot of saltiness, but like that cappuccino that I was getting in the first third is gone, unfortunately. That was a really, really nice flavor component that I was really enjoying. I mean the construction's still holding up well. Yeah, to Coop's point, I'm really excited to see what happens, what transpires in the third. If it continues to become a little bit less multidimensional and more one-dimensional in the third, or if there's a crescendo of flavor, so to speak. So, Aaron, what about your third experience?
Yep, I would agree with. I don't have a whole lot to add. What I will agree with, I think Coop mentioned it. Earth is starting to creep in a little bit. It's still got that woody component. My white pepper, I still get it through the retro, but I was initially on the first third, it was full on white pepper through the initial smoke, and that part's died, but it's still kind of there through the retro. The burn draw, everything is great. The primary still flavor I get is that woody component. It's not as dry as it was for me in the first third, so that's kind of like maybe add a little bit of the sweetness that you guys are getting. It's not overly sweet by any stretch, but it's still it's kind of morphed into what the first third would, but everything maybe ratcheted down a little bit, kind of more melded together than the first third. So enjoying it, and yeah, burn construction and lastly too, my finish is much shorter than it was in the first third.
Yeah, I'm surprised that like I'm the only one getting that salted caramel, but that's pretty cool. I kind of like that we're all getting a little bit different stuff. But overall, that's been pretty good. So we'll go ahead. We'll finish the car off. We'll come back in a minute and let you give you our conclusion and our score. See you in a second.
And welcome back, everybody. This is the Smoking Syndicate's Roundtable number 20. We're smoking Lure Cigars Company's The Jolly Walleye, and we're wrapping up this we're going to give our thoughts in the final third and our overall thoughts for the cigar, and of course, the cigar score that I know everyone is clamoring for, even though no one pays attention to ratings or scores, but we're going to give it anyway. So, Coop, why don't you kick us off?
You know, normally we get this big drop in the final third. Not so much a big drop here, slight drop, but not at all like a fall off where it really hurts. So a little more earthy. The pepper is definitely more prominent on the tongue. But there's enough. I'm still getting enough of that stone fruit sweetness, the pine. Some of the herbal stuff is still there, but it's not as much anymore. So it is smoke, and the strength continues to build on this thing. So if it's going close to the threshold of full, it's still there for sure. Burn and draw are smoking fine. I mean, the combustion on this has been great. It's um nice and firm too. It's not hot. It's not burning hot either. So it's no harshness I'm getting off this at all. So it's not that normal like dip that we've seen with the final third.
Go ahead and give your overall prices too. Then we'll come back and do our scores.
Um, in terms of the thirds,
Yeah, the whole cigar. What do you
yeah.
think of it?
So really really good cigar. It I would say it peaked for me in the second third. So if I had to say what the best third was, it was definitely the second third, where the flavors really started to balance each other nicely. Not too much sweetness, not too much spice, but still plenty of complexity going on with that. Close second is the first third, and not too far back is that final third with that right now. It is a full powerhouse cigar, is what I'm just going to tell people. Eat if you're experienced, you want to eat something for sure. You don't want to smoke this. I wouldn't smoke this in the morning. Some people might, right? Unless you've eaten something. Um,
Not eggs.
Not eggs. Nice sausage biscuit or something maybe.
Some
With
dry
it.
cereal.
Um, Dry cereal, absolutely dry cereal. But an enjoyable cigar and one I would definitely reach back for again for sure.
You know what the hell with it? Just go ahead. Let's do our overall impressions and our score. You go ahead and
Yep.
score it. Okay.
Yep.
What do
What
you
was that?
think?
Do my score?
Yeah, we'll just do the whole thing. That's why I
90.
might as
I
well.
give it a 90.
Good score.
It gets a Cigar Coop standard of excellence here.
Nice.
Yep.
Very nice. Good score.
Good
Aaron,
score
what about
for
you?
yeah. I don't give a lot of those odds, and new brands don't often get that. This was an excellent cigar.
Yeah.
That's true.
So, where do I start? So, burn, draw, fantastic.
Well, give your
Um,
thoughts on the final third. Do the final third and then the whole shebang.
oh, okay. Oh, sorry. Final third. So I would agree with Coop. Pretty much everything he said. It didn't get muddled. You could pick up all the flavors. It held its construction. Um, the earth ramped up a little bit, so I got a little more earthy towards the end, which I mean, I don't want to say it's expected, but we get a lot of that. However, it held some of its complexity. I still had a little bit of that
Yeah.
herbal, still had some of the white pepper. It was still the primary flavor or component that I got was wood. But it's still, I mean, it still held my attention all throughout. I would say the high point was, I'm going to cheat a little bit, was that first third into that second. So I guess I'll go with the second third. I'll agree with Coop was probably my favorite of the thirds. I thought the flavors all came together really well in that second third.
Yeah.
First third was probably second, then the final third was not far behind. I mean, I think it was different, but it still held its volition in terms of my attention, the notes I got to pick out. I almost nubbed it basically, so it held all the way through. Again, I can't speak enough to the blending of a very strong cigar. So definitely do not smoke this in the morning. I don't even care if you've eaten something, a good egg omelet, Coop. Definitely do not
Do not have an
smoke
egg
this in
on.
definitely do not smoke this in the morning. But this is one that if you like strength, it's full body, full flavor. And again, kudos to Lou in a sense that when we talked about it, it's easy to blend a very strong cigar. It's very difficult to blend a strong cigar that has complexity and you can pick out the flavors. So
Yeah. Absolutely.
I would definitely recommend this cigar to people, but again, not to the novice, but to somebody that enjoys a more fuller body. I'm going to give it a 90 as well. I really enjoyed it. I'm interested to smoke this again too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy this and give it a few more tries. I think though, for me, what's going to be important is I can't just smoke this and not think about it because I could see myself because of the draw being, I don't know if it's into bar, but it's very open draw. I could see myself just kind of smoking away, not paying attention. This is one you have to pay a little bit of attention to because you'll miss a lot of it. And I would highly recommend if you can retro because that's where you pick up a lot of
Yeah.
the some of the flavors that you're getting. Because if you don't retro, you're going to miss a few things. So overall, I would recommend this cigar for sure.
Yep.
I'm pretty positive this is into bottle. I'm pretty positive it is. But anyway, Bear, what did you think of the cigar? Your final third,
Well,
overall impressions.
well, Aaron talked about nubbing it. I mean, I mean, that's pretty much burning my fingertips at this point. So I'm still getting some draws off of it. Uh, the last third, for me though, did drop off quite a bit. It just became very, it did. I started to pick up some heat just at this point, but I mean, at the point that I'm at in the cigar, I mean, it's really not a knock. But what the flavors came through is in that final third, it was really relying heavily on the earthiness that kind of started in the second third. The herbalness is still there, that echinacea that I was getting before. The rose hip is gone. The salt is still there. The cappuccino is gone. So a lot of those delicate flavors that we were talking about in the first third and our initial impressions have been are just a memory at this point. And I the third really kind of dropped off for me. Actually I had to do a relight in the final third too. And I've been smoking pretty consistently with this, so I do kind of count that against it. I mean, it's not a huge knockoff of it. I mean, you have one relight, it's not the end of the world. But it kind of does go towards the final score for me as well. Overall impressions, I disagree with everyone so far. The first third was by far my favorite of all the thirds. I
I
think
can
it
see
had.
that with you, though. I absolutely see that with you.
I think it was the most captivating. I think it was the most. I think it was the most complex. I think there was, I use the term whimsical, and I stand by that. I think that it had a lot going forward, and I was really looking forward for it to continue into the second and third thirds. If I could break this down almost into force, the last half of the second and third really is kind of where it dropped off for me. But look, I mean, I'm smoking this down in my fingertips, so it's not like it's the end. It's not like it's an awful experience at this point. But it does affect the final score in a lot of ways for me. Overall, I think this cigar was really quite a surprise. Again, I wasn't really, I'm not sure what I was expecting kind of coming into it. I wanted it to be good. The makeup was really fascinating to me. The Ometepe usage, 100% agree. Really fully full flavored, full bodied. I mean, this will fucking knock your dick in the dirt if you're not careful. I mean, it's got some giddy up in all the right ways. So I'm really glad I had a nice meal before this. Let's just put it that way. Um, that all being said, I think it kind of comes together in a really nice way. I think that if you're looking for a heavily complex cigar, I don't think I don't think that's it. I think it's a very complex first third. That kind of really plays with your palate quite well, but the second and third thirds really dropped off for me, unfortunately. But not in an awful way. It's not like it took a nosedive off the flavor tree. It's not a supreme leaf or anything. Um, Shout out to Aganorsa. So or anything like that. But the overall score for me, I think I've landed on an 88 with this. Um,
Still a
I
solid start.
I would smoke it again. And I mean, I would definitely buy the cigar. At $15 MSRP, it's not it's not it doesn't dissuade me from smoking it and enjoying it again. Um, but I have to be in the mood for a full bodied cigar. Like I couldn't just pick this up, at any time either. But for a first limited edition, for a first time cigar, brand owner and maker in Lou Cross, he's got to be proud of this.
Yeah.
And I think he is, and I think he has every right to be because I think it's pretty impressive. I haven't had any of the other cigars, so I can't really tell you where I land on any of those, um but yeah, this is nice. This is nice. I'd smoke it again, but that's my score, 88. Ben?
Well, let's see where look at what I have left of this cigar. It's not very much. And y'all know I don't nub cigars. It's to me, it's not worth it. It's not, squeeze is not it's not worth it. So, but the final third, it mainly what I got was the white pepper, the piney woods, the saltiness was still there, the herbalness was there. The white pepper came back a little bit more on the final third than than the second third. I wasn't getting that salted caramel I was getting in the second third. At the very, very end of the first third. But I thought it would finish a lot better than what I was expecting. And I will say, when you read this blend, this cigar does not smoke like what that blend is. I'll be honest. Like that much Ometepe in this cigar, it should be overwhelmed with the Ometepe,
Yeah.
but it's not. It is not. The Ometepe, Ometepe can easily overwhelm a cigar blend, very easily. This is not. This did not happen here. Matter of fact, there's only minute little parts of it that I would say, oh, there's Ometepe, but it's not an overwhelming part of the cigar as much as it's used there. It's kind of weird, honestly, you know. But the second third to me was the best one because they got that salt and caramel note that kind of really helped balance it out with the white pepper, the herbal note, the kind of the piney woods that we got in there, the little bit of the earthiness and stuff. It was overall, I thought it was a really good cigar. I would rate this a 90 as well. And I almost thought about not even doing a score for this one because Lou is a good friend of mine, and I thought that would be kind of a conflict of interest. But I thought on the round table I should at least mention what I would score this. And I would score this a 90 as well. And I've had several of the line, and I'll tell you as of right now, this was a 90, and it's my third favorite that I've had so far. So that'll tell you what I think of the line, But like I said, I've known Lou for quite a while. I know his palate. He knows mine too. And this, these lure cigars are straight up what I would thought that he would want to come out with. And I think he's done a hell of a job with this line and this cigar in particular. This is a very unique flavor profile.
Yes,
I can't even I can't even tell you like, well, if you like this, you'll like this one. I can't even equate it to something else. This is very, very unique. A very unique blend, a unique flavor profile. So I definitely think, these are limited edition. And, on the round table, we try not to do anything that you can't get a hold of, right? No, try not to do limited editions and try not to do store exclusive stuff like that. Because we tell you something's good. We want you to be able to go out and get this cigar. But when Lou told us that this is going to be an annual release, that it would be back, I thought, okay,
yep,
that'll work. That'll work for us.
agree.
And I definitely think if you find these in the wild now, they're still out there. Grab it and check them out. It's a very unique cigar. It's something really, really different than what you're going to find on the cigar, shelves, cigar store shelves. Check them out. There's several places online that have them too. Um, and I will say that Lou did provide us with these samples to do this review on, full
Yep.
disclosure. But he's seeing this review for the first time as you're seeing it too. Well, like I said, that was the first time I had this cigar was live right now on this. So, really good. I think it was a really good cigar. And we have at least one more coming up on a future roundtable that we have.
Yep.
So stay tuned. Um, I think that's it, unless anybody has anything else to add.
I'm good.
All good?
No, I think we'll
All
do
right, well,
another one
please.
later in the year for sure.
Yes, definitely.
Yep.
Please like, comment, and subscribe. And on that note, we'll see you next time.